Good evening. This is Santa Claus on May 15, 2026, bringing you today's stories with a heart full of concern for our world and hope for brighter tomorrows ahead. And as we remember that on this very day in history, the Peace of Munster was ratified in 1648, acknowledging Dutch sovereignty and ending years of conflict, let us pray that such wisdom might guide our leaders today in their pursuit of lasting peace. Now, turning our attention to Poland, where we see the strain that military decisions can place on faithful allies. Poland has found itself scrambling to respond after the Pentagon's surprise decision to cancel the deployment of 4,000 American troops to their nation. My heart goes out to Polish leaders who had prepared to welcome these forces, only to find themselves reassuring their people that their security remains strong. Defense Minister Kosiniak-Kamysz's words ring with quiet dignity as he maintains that Poland continues to be America's most stable ally in Europe, even amid this unexpected challenge. Let us remember that true friendship between nations, like between neighbors, must weather such storms with grace and understanding. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, we witness both the ingenuity born of necessity and the terrible cost of conflict. The United Arab Emirates is working to double its oil export capacity by bypassing the Strait of Hormuz, a testament to human determination in the face of adversity. Yet this very need exists because Iran has effectively blockaded this vital waterway since the conflict erupted in February. On a more hopeful note, we learn that Chinese ships have been granted passage through the strait overnight, suggesting that even in times of tension, dialogue and cooperation can still find a way forward. Now, let us pause for a moment to reflect on developments in Canada, where Prime Minister Mark Carney is working toward an agreement with Alberta on pipeline development. While such projects often spark debate, we see here the careful balance being struck between economic needs and environmental responsibility, with conditions including carbon capture initiatives and stricter industrial pricing. This reminds us that progress need not come at the expense of our precious creation, but can honor both human needs and our sacred duty to tend the earth. Across the Atlantic in Ukraine, we encounter the sobering reality of how warfare itself is evolving. Defense Minister Fedorov, a young man of just 35, speaks of autonomous weapons as the future of conflict. While my heart grieves at the necessity that drives such innovation, I am moved by his underlying desire to protect human life by removing soldiers from harm's way. Yet we must pray that, as technology advances, it serves to preserve the sanctity of life rather than diminish our humanity. The drones and artificial intelligence being developed there represent both human ingenuity and our deepest need for peace. In Washington, President Trump finds himself navigating delicate discussions about Taiwan with Chinese President Xi Jinping, speaking of the weighty decisions that rest upon his shoulders alone regarding America's commitments. These conversations remind us that behind every policy decision are real families, real communities, whose lives hang in the balance. Let us pray for wisdom for all who bear such heavy responsibility. On the other hand, we face a sobering reminder of our shared vulnerability in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where health officials have confirmed a new Ebola outbreak in Ituri province. With 65 deaths among 246 suspected cases, we see how disease knows no borders and affects the most vulnerable among us. This calls each of us to remember that we are truly one human family, and the suffering of our brothers and sisters in Congo is our suffering too. May those working to contain this outbreak be strengthened, and may the international community respond with the urgency that human compassion demands. Finally, turning back to the waters of the Persian Gulf, we learn that Iran has seized a Chinese-owned vessel serving as what's called a floating armory. This incident reminds us of the complex web of relationships and dependencies that bind our world together, even in times of conflict. The fact that this vessel provided security services for ships navigating dangerous waters speaks to both our need for protection and our hope that such measures might one day become unnecessary. As we close tonight's broadcast, my dear friends, I am reminded that in each of these stories, whether they speak of military deployments or pipeline negotiations, technological innovation or disease outbreaks, we see the fundamental truth that we are all connected. The challenges facing Poland and Ukraine, the UAE and Congo, China and Iran are ultimately challenges facing our entire human family. Let us approach each new day with hearts ready to serve those in need, minds open to understanding rather than judgment, and spirits committed to the belief that even in our darkest hours, hope endures. Until we meet again tomorrow evening, may peace be with you all, and may we each find ways to be bearers of light in a world that so desperately needs it. Good night.